at the time of the Revolution, there were only 3%, roughly, of the population of the United States, or the colonies at that time, who took part actively in the Revolution. Can we muster 3% today? I think we can. And I think the odds are just as great. They had the greatest nation on the earth at that point in time, the greatest military force in opposition to them. But yet they were able to receive independence and liberty. Likewise, we, with a small group of dedicated individuals who are willing to stand up for freedom, can make that same change. And I see that happening here in Utah and across the nation today. There is a shout of freedom again in the land. And as we join together with those who would seek freedom, we can make that change and reestablish liberty as our standard and our watchword. If we don't, indeed, those who come after us will will say to themselves, what happened? Those who went before us, why did they not see what they were leaving for us as they sit in their shackles? Or they may stand and have praise to not only the founders who originally brought us the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, but to us, our generation, as we liberated them from the shackles that we had given them. We have that option. And so, we must resolve to stand for truth and for liberty in all places, at all times, no matter what the situation. But as we do that, we have power. And so, I'd just like to take a minute and talk about our campaign. We have a very unique situation in District 2. Jim Matheson, who's been the incumbent he's been in office for 5 elections now. This is his 5th. He is facing for the first time opposition from within his party. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens after the events today. I look forward to seeing what happens. As well, historically in this district, although the Republicans have cried every single election, don't vote for anyone else, we've got to stay together as a party, we don't want to split the vote. Well, they haven't. For 5 elections, the average vote has been 112,000 votes for the Republican candidate. Bill Dew, last election, 111,400. They've been voting as a bloc, but they cannot beat Jim Matheson. Why? Because there are enough independents and unaffiliated voters in this district that do not feel they resonate with whatever the Republican Party is doing. They want to see something different. And at the same time, the party, here as evidence with what's happening with Claudia Wright, the party itself, Democratic Party, is splitting on who they want to support. And those independents and unaffiliated voters who have voted for Matheson in the past are upset about his stance on health care. They're upset on his stance with his votes on the hate crime legislation and similar legislation. And that leads us to an opportunity to sweep this district. Because we provide an opportunity for those who are unaffiliated and independent that aren't willing to affiliate themselves with the Republican Party to have an option in the coming election. And we're going to stand and fight. We're going to stand and share this message day and night, week in and week out, until that time comes and we stand victorious in District 2. So that the people can feel again that they have that voice and vote. That their vote will not be wasted yet again for the same conglomeration of 2 parties. I'd just like to close my remarks with a quote that some of you have heard, but is very dear to my heart. And I feel it reflects our situation today. They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Shall it be in the next week? Or in the next year? Shall it be when we are totally disarmed and when a British guard is stationed in every house? Shall we gather strength through irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of an effectual resistance through lying supinely on our backs and hugging the delusive phantom of hope until our enemy has bound us hand and foot? Sir, we are not weak if we make a proper use of the means which the God of nature hath placed in our power. The millions of people, armed in the holy cause of liberty and in such a country as we possess, are invincible by any force our enemy can send against us. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations, who will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Besides, sir, we have no election. Were we base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. There is no retreat, but in submission and slavery. Our chains are forged. Their clanking may be heard upon the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is vain to extenuate the matter. The gentleman may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear and peace so sweet to be suffered at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Thank you.